All right, listen. We're in business now.
Your poor Jussie. We're talking about Jussie?
No, whatever y'all want.
Well, let's introduce the show. Let's introduce the show.
Okay.
Apparently, Jesse's
So,
directionist.
Welcome to the Get Us in the Mind. This is episode 30, where we do politics and bullshit. That's kind of what we do. So let's just jump into it. I'm gonna actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this a little bit different this week. I'm gonna actually pose a question, and I'm gonna start with someone, and we can all jump in later. But I'm gonna start with someone and give a question, and I'm gonna start with you, Mike, since you seem to be ready to talk. Mike, you are the attorneys for the convicted Jussie Smollet.
Ask for my money back.
What is your strategy at this point? What was your strategy to get your client off? What would you say to your client? Or what would you do with your client? He's been convicted. He's convicted of I believe perjury. I think basically fraud and basically lying, and he's doing 150 days in jail, in county jail, which I have more to say about that. And 43 years of probation. What's your legal strategy, or as a legal counselor to Jussie? What would you tell him?
Honestly, I don't know. I have never fully understood what the hell any of what he did was. Like I did he not want to get written off the show? Did he? I guess your best option, if you've already been convicted, you gotta come clean, be remorseful of what you did, and I would ask for. I mean, you can't ask for a lenient sentence, but so he did. I don't know if you saw the whole thing with the judge. The judge went in for like 30 minutes talking about this whole thing. He really just basically
gave it to him.
Gave him the red and the riot act.
Yeah.
And his and at the end, he essentially quadrupled down. He said basically, if I go to jail, if I die, it was a suicide. I didn't do this. I could have said I'm innocent. He walked out to raising his fist. He quadrupled down, and his attorney, I believe, are going to challenge it. So he's not admitting defeat. He's like, no, I didn't do this.
I don't know.
Well,
can I throw something out there?
The problem with that strategy, he's going to do the 150 days in county, because by the time he gets out of county, he will been and served all of his time before he gets a retrial. So that's not gonna work. I mean, he could get the sentences removed for his record, but he gonna do the time. They're not gonna fast track anything for him so that he doesn't have to do his 150 days in county.
So what do you think he's out to gain out of doing this? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. It's like, even you look at
He's
Cosby.
going with trying to protect his reputation. That's what
his reputation is in tatters. No one believes him.
No, I mean his. I guess he's trying to, for lack of a better term, well, I guess it's the perfect example. He's trying to do a Bill Cosby. I might have sat in there. Everything gets dismissed. I'm absolved legally of everything.
But all right. In
if
Bill's
it gets
defense,
removed, even if he does the time, because like Bill can't get that time back, but he can say I've never been blah blah blah.
But Bill at least has and still has supporters. People support Bill. I've got a cousin that supports him, like is in his corner, and it's like something's wrong with this man, because it's like. He could have said nothing. The judge could have said all these things and gave him his time. He could have said nothing in the field, but he just decided to stand up and make a big scene. And it's like, what are you doing?
Well, that's consistent with what he's accused of. Meaning he did it for attention. He did it to put the like. If you about to be sentenced and you doing that to the judge, makes no sense.
I just because I was gonna I heard he got sentenced. I was like, oh well, hey, whatever. I can't say how it was what it was. But then I like watched it a little bit, and they show him going off. I'm like, why is he doing this, yo? He's like defiant and like ready to fight. Like I'm like, but I do know this much. He may be better off going to prison than jail. Prison prison has a structure. So if you go to prison, you kind of, maybe he gets sent to medium security prison. Maybe he gets favoritism. He has some cachet. His family is acting. You're in jail. You're in jail. You're in the county. It's I think if I'm convicted of a crime, I think I'd rather go to prison than Rikers Island.
Yeah.
You hear the horror stories about what happens in prison, about jail rather. I'm like,
yeah, well, in county, you never who gonna show up because it's
county. Right. That's what I'm saying, and it's so little structure there. I'm like, yo, I don't know. He the man is.
I think that's why they did it. That's why they sent him the way that they did.
I think because so little time, they're like, we're not going to send him to prison. He can, do those 75 days. Granny got 150, but they're gonna knock it down to 75. He do half his time. He can do that.
He's gonna be in Cook County, like
that's what I'm saying. No, I'm telling you.
Feel for the bro.
Yeah, I'm telling you, yo. I mean, think about that. I'd rather go to
County
than Rikers Island, right? Like New York Rikers Island is. Oh, that's I don't know. The man is
and with the young boys, oh Lord.
Yeah,
the youngins.
No.
I'm talking about the young boys trying to get a reputation.
That's what I'm saying. Young boys,
the youngins,
right? They're gonna try to make a name.
Exactly, like, man. He gonna catch it for 150.
Yep. So I, and I was listening to another commentator, and they were like, well, if they were saying like the judges kind of was trying to be a star and he overcharged and all this and it's not fair to he all his time, and he probably did get overcharged. He probably should have got that much time, but it's like, yo, look at what you did, man. It's like you had. I'm getting tired of Black people. Some people, after the fact, someone does something and they get charged. They go, well, if it was white man, he would have been charged. Well, you should have did it. It's like, come on, man. At some point, you can get charged more. It's always been that way. So try not to do it. I don't know.
Just find it hard to believe that two random dudes, or not even random, because he supposedly know the guys, right? Sure. Is like I know Todd and Dave and Les. Why would they just arbitrarily just jump me as I'm walking down the street from Subway and tie a rope around my neck? And you know what I'm saying?
You know what? The story this reminds me of is that I don't know if any of you guys remember Tawana Brawley, and that's I kind of looked up in preparation when I was thinking about it. Even that story, which apparently they found that she made it up, and there's a whole big issue with that. At least it's a better concocted story. It's like, it's like midnight, and it's like midnight, 2:00 on a cold Chicago night. Do you think there'll be any MAGA dudes out there in Chicago at 2:00 at night? It's like, how? I don't know. It was crazy. So, all right. So, Mr. Black Steel.
Yes.
You are the. What is it? You are the you are Vladimir Putin. You have basically become this,
pariah.
The pariah of the world. You've invaded Ukraine. You basically have basically put the world on the verge of World War III, so to speak. things aren't going so well for you. At least that's what the indications say and media says. Although you can't, from what I believe, you can't believe everything media says. So there's always a slant to it.
Right.
How do you feel there's a way that you can win this war? Maybe not win this war, but save face.
Yes.
What would you do? What's your plan of attack in this case? You already
so if you want me
Ukraine.
to stop killing innocent people and kids and maternity hospitals, and for me to save face, I want something. I don't know much about Russia's economy, but pretty much, from what I saw, the companies leaving, like Levi's, Christian Dior. I mean, major companies were in Russia, in Moscow, McDonald's. So I don't know. Like, what would he ask for? I understand, like, Russia's GDP is like the size of Texas. So I don't know what their technology is like, but like I was telling DJ, Vladimir Putin wants to be acknowledged. Acknowledge me. So he wants something. He wants to be taken seriously. Maybe he wants to be part of the G7. I don't know, but I would have to ask for something stupendous in order for because I don't want war. He got kids. As crazy as he acts, he has kids too, and he don't want his daughters to die. You know what I'm saying? So for me to save face and to pull back and to stop Russian forces, I would need, a sweetheart deal. Something that's going to improve my economy for generations.
You think he has the ability to get that? What does he have to? What can he do to get that kind of sweetheart deal for generation? That's a lot of, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, Russia already deals with China. We have they have nuclear weapons. I just don't know what average life is in Moscow. What can I do to improve the people of Russia, to boost my economy? I don't know. I mean, allow more corporations to come to Russia. I don't know, bro. That's a difficult one.
Do you think there is a way? Let me just ask Blanket. Do you think that there's a pathway out for him, or pathway to victory?
I do, but I think it's going to take not just one person, Biden or France. I think Saudi Arabia, China, Japan, Qatar, France, England, Germany, all the leaders of these countries to call this dude up and like, all right, listen, bro, what do you want? Because, you attacking Ukraine is fucking up all our money. Excuse me. It's messing up all our money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think we need to look at what his initial goal was, what his goal is now, and what his possible future goal can be. He thought he was going to have a walk in the park, come in, they was going to lay down, he was going to take over the country and absorb them like he did Crimea. Didn't happen. So what's his goal now? I think he still wants the territory. I think he might try to see if he can wait it out and see if things change. Because I mean, even though they're enduring way harsher financial problems, issues, sanctions, all of that stuff, there's ramifications on the rest of the world that's imposing them on them too. Like, It's not like the need for oil and the stuff that they do go away, and there are other countries outside of Russia that they do like financially support because they're, you know, trying to push their agenda. When those countries start hurting because they're hurting, like it's gonna be interesting. I'm not saying that he has a strong hand, because he doesn't, but I think it's a little bit more complicated than how it's being portrayed.
Yeah, I also, one of the things that I try not to do, I try not to just buy into what's being sold on the media. You know what I mean? I you know, you know, I wonder sometimes, are they, and I'm sure they are they selling us? You know, you watch the news and you have to realize sometimes that they're trying to sell you something for you to look at things a certain way, you know? And not that I think that Putin's not guilty or innocent, but what, you know, it seems as though they are trying to either make it seem like first of all, one thing that I've noticed, that they try to make it seem like Ukraine is really fucking up Russia, and it's like, no, that's not the case, man. Because if you listen to it, they'd be like, Ukraine, they're showing them stopping all these Russian tanks, all this stuff, but they're 9 miles from the capital. Right. You know, so you kind of, they kind of, you know, sometimes if you watch the news, they kind of want you to do this. They want you to do the flag waving, what you call it. And I'm sympathetic towards the Ukraine position, but I just think you know, that sometimes they're, you know, a lot of it is trying to sort of.
I want you to think about this, because I was having a conversation with one of my boys I went to college with a couple nights ago. All the newscasts I've seen about the actual action that has happened, and, you know, the strong Ukrainian forces holding off the Russian forces. I've seen Russian tanks, other armored vehicles. I've seen them use heavy artillery. All I've seen from the Ukrainian army is guys walking around with machine guns and pistols.
Molotov cocktails, yeah.
Yeah, no. But the thing is, what I'm saying is, even in the we supplied them the weapons. They had rocket launchers. They was taking out tanks that way. Like, if Russia really wanted to come in, Russia just doesn't want to destroy the infrastructure because they don't want to have to rebuild it.
Right.
But the thing is, if they back Putin into a corner, he might go. If he goes scorched earth, then like it's over. They will take the country quickly, because they don't really have they don't have an equivalent machines, vehicles, and infrastructure to repel the Russians. It's just dudes with handguns and machine guns.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. You look at it, it's like, man, it's like rocks against.
And why are they portraying these folks so valiant in other conflicts around the world when folks have invaded? You know,
you took the words right out of my mouth.
Right. That you know, and it's I'm not trying to you know, part of me, you know, and if you watch it, you kind of you find yourself, if you're not paying attention, you just start, yeah, man, they're great, they're gonna stop them, and it's like, yo, but part of it is slow up a bit and say, are they really trying to push a particular narrative on me? You know, do they want me to think a certain way? You know, in regards to what's going on, and not look at the whole picture and what's going on.
Because I was saying to DJ and I had a spirited debate going back and forth, and I said, how are the people in Ukraine any different than people in Afghanistan? Exactly. They want freedom.
Yep.
They don't want to be ruled by the Taliban. Yep. You see, those people were holding on to those cargo planes for their life because they want to leave Afghanistan. Right? Yeah. But nobody was, NBC didn't have a QR code on the screen to help people in Afghanistan and this, that, and so forth. I was like, that's total hypocrisy.
Well, like yo, we out.
Go ahead, Mike. Was that
a big well, there's a couple of things, right? I've heard a lot of people kind of point out, aside from simply the military aspect of this, there's another geopolitical like power aspect. Apparently, there's a lot of natural gas off the coast of Ukraine, and there's some resources that I think Ukraine had the capacity to exploit, and that would have cut into Russia's major, export business. Because if your natural gas from Ukraine, then you don't have to deal with Vlad anymore.
Yeah.
Because most of the Russian economy really is based off the extraction and export of natural gas and oil. This country right on your border that has better relations than you do to the EU, to your primary customers, simply because this country is not overtly antagonistic to them, is a real dangerous threat. And I think that there's a lot to be said to that. I also think that Vladimir really thought he was going to be able to roll in there quickly, take over, and then just have everybody behave the way they did when he took Georgia or when he took Crimea. Just kind of be like, well, I guess that's it. And a lot of people aren't. They aren't cool with it. And, a lot of the big problem is, even if he does get to Kyiv and install a new government, everyone on the world stage will know this is just an installed government and will not view that government as being legitimate. Like, they'll deal with them because they have to, but it's not like it'll go anywhere. Now, granted, I think what he wants is all of the former Russian satellite states to be aligned with Russia and have their own little power block. But, like, I don't think it's going to work in the new world. I just don't think it's going to work forever. It's going to work for his lifetime, and that's really all he cares about, because that's what all dictators care about. But to your question about, like, why are they acting like this towards Ukraine and not Afghanistan or Yemen or any of, because they see themselves, because they ultimately see themselves in Ukrainians, and it is because they're white or they're European, depending on what like tack you want to get. They do feel a closeness to these to the Ukrainian population that they do not feel to the people in the Middle East or the people in Africa or any of the South Asian countries that are kind of ravaged by the long-term effects of colonization. And we don't do ourselves any favors, not admitting that. Like, we all know why. We all know why they're acting like this, because they see those people.
Well,
they look
like. Well, they look why? Like I got a question, but why wasn't the world or the media response the same for Georgia and Crimea as opposed to Ukraine? Because the world didn't seem to care. Well,
because those are two little pieces of a country that no one knows where they are. And every time you say Georgia,
no, but they're located more in the Mediterranean.
It's not that. It's because Americans don't know honestly don't know anything about the world outside of our own borders. And let's be honest, we really don't know anything about the world inside our own borders.
No, it's more mixtures with darker folks. Like Ukraine is more closer to Scandinavia. It's they look different. If you understand,
Ukraine is on the other side of the continent to Scandinavia. Like
no. What I'm saying is, Ukraine folks, blonde hair, blue eyes.
That's what I said. Like they see that whiteness, and they are able to be more empathetic about it. Because those kids look like their kids. Ukraine doesn't look like America, but Ukraine has a model of urbanization that is one that they recognize.
Wow.
So they can more easily project themselves into the devastation of that country. it looks like a city that's familiar to that looks familiar to them.
Would you gentlemen have an issue if the government, the administration said we're going to allow Ukrainian refugees to resettle here in America?
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
And guess where it's gonna come to? It's coming to the Midwest and the Northeast and East Coast. And it probably won't be
and it won't be a giant pushback.
Put the people on the plains, man. North Dakota. Idaho.
They're not going. They're not going there. Those states don't have they're gonna send them to the states that they believe can have the financial ability to absorb them. So it's gonna be Midwestern states. They might try to use them as low skilled workers for whatever, like little manufacturing jobs that they feel Americans won't work for, and they're going to be in the East Coast. Oh well, they have good it's high taxes. They have good a social safety net. We're going to send them there.
Yeah,
and that's what's going to happen. They're not going to the South with the ones rattling the sabers and all of that stuff. They're not going there because they're poor.
I think when I was asking earlier about Putin as well, I think here's the play I think might play out with Putin. I think he's gonna continue this war, maybe perhaps capture the capital, of Ukraine, and I think, the overriding sanctions and all these other things, and dissension from everyday Russians, which I'm sure aren't too happy about him doing this. I think what Putin wants and probably is going to get is at least the eastern part of it, and I think a way out for him is to say, get the capital, not keep it, capture it, and then maybe over a period of time say, you know what, okay, I'll step aside and I'll just keep the eastern part of Ukraine. And there he's captured a little bit of it. He can claim a victory, and then he can sort of save face. That's kind of the how I look at it. And there's certain aspects of that area that I think he wants to get. I think it's probably, not looking at a map, but I think he's trying to capture, to block Ukraine from the Black Sea. I think I read something about that.
Yeah. My biggest concern is that they took over Chernobyl, and
I didn't know it was in Ukraine.
The nuclear facility. So they're just going to use that shit to generate more nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
No, I think
you don't think so?
Because like the what you need for
power is different than
Chernobyl is shut down. Like Chernobyl is a non-functioning power plant. Like that facility is essentially cordoned off until until the radiation.
Use it to make dirty bombs and sell it to whoever.
That's what I was saying.
Like people aren't supposed to be in there. Like there's a literal exclusion, a literal exclusion zone. And
you don't hold to that.
the grade of uranium that they use for weapons and the grade that they use for power plants are different. So you there needs to be post processing that they're not going to be able to do without essentially transporting it back to Russia. But like I said, Chernobyl, that site is cordoned off. Like they literally built a concrete cap over the reactor. Wow. Like it's sealed off. It is they're not, and no one's going in there just to take out a few pieces of uranium, to make a dirty bomb. Like they're not gonna do that. Like the payoff isn't worth it.
Well, when the ruble is worth 1 cent, you'd be surprised what a desperate man to do.
I was hearing that. I was like, wow, the ruble is like a cent. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And I'm guessing that Vladimir Putin doesn't want to become, this generation's, Hitler adjacent, I guess, for lack of a better word.
We're nowhere near that.
Yeah, Like, yeah, I guess that's
the hyperbolic nature of the time period that we live in. He annexed the country. He annexed the country. He's trying to keep it. That's nowhere near like I'm going to dominate the entire world. I'm going to methodically invade and take over every country in Europe, and then I'm going to, branch off from there. Like, and that was Hitler's goal. He wanted like. But I think he will try to take the capital, set up a puppet government.
Yeah.
And then leave.
Right. And I think he wants that eastern part of Ukraine. I think that's for him getting that would be victory.
What was it called back in the day? Yeah, it was the Warsaw Pact. It was the Russian counter to NATO. Their countries, the buffer zones from the NATO countries, right? Warsaw Pact.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Maybe here's a tactic. Maybe he'll use Brittany Griner as a bargaining chip. Never know.
She don't have enough juice, bro.
No, that was just ignorant.
So, Mr. Ologist.
Yes, sir.
You are the aforementioned Brittany Griner. You have been locked up in a Russian jail for roughly 3 weeks now?
Since February 24th. Yeah.
What I shouldn't say what are your options? You don't have any options, you're in jail. How long do you think how long can you hold out? What were you thinking carrying that?
It's not what you were thinking. It's what was she accustomed to, and she generalized or she projected how things work in the country that she was familiar with to the rest of the world, and not understanding other parts of the world, laws and rules, cultural things are entirely different. And if you're in international travel, you need to make yourself aware of those things, because guess what? The U.S. embassy is not the law. Like, and the U.S. law doesn't apply on foreign soil. It's probably more than likely just ignorance, but I hope I give some of the responsibility. Like, if you're in a business, in an organization, there's supposed to be people that prep you for that stuff.
I said the same thing. Where's her agent? Yeah.
Well, it's not even the agent. It's the team, the league, who she played with. Like, they need people in place. We're going here. These are the rules. Don't do this stuff. This is what you can bring. This is what you can't bring. Like, it's.
Bro, but that wasn't her first time. Then she's been playing in Russia for like 7 years.
Right. She knows what's up. I think she's been doing this for a while. You know what I mean? And I
she probably has, and you
do it, and I've been getting away with it, and I'll think about it, and then one day you just so happen to get caught. You know, that's kind of what I think. What I was going to ask you is how long do you think that she'll be locked up? How long do you think this plays out? Less than a year? More than a year?
More than a year. But like, I don't understand why so many Americans take the risk when they go to other fucking countries.
That's what I'm saying. Why?
All right, so for her, I'm not defending it. I'm just explaining. And this is where you see the pay inequity. As a WNBA player, she only gets $227,000 a year.
Yeah.
As one of the top players. She goes to Russia, she gets $1 million per season. So that's why she's been going back and forth for the past 7 years. And a lot of WNBA players
trying to secure the bag. Right. Get it. Like, she's got every right to do that. But like, goddamn, you should know. B, you should know. You go there all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like
this is what I got to do to get the bag from this country. I can't bring X, Y, and Z. I gotta you gotta complain to get that bag.
It's gonna have to be sober for this last couple of months.
Right. Yeah. Can't smoke. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm sorry. Like no. It's just not.
Just put it this way: if I were ever to go to China, I'm not bringing any of my. I'm not bringing any of my electronics because I'm not gonna have a piece of software on there that the child look. Oh hell, you got encryption. Blah blah blah. No,
you went on Google.
Hell no.
You know, and I sent.
If I take a phone, it'd probably be an old flip phone. Like
I sent a link about that kid, that guy from
Otto Warmbier.
Otto Warmbier. And you hear that story, it's like, yo, that's just it's you know, you think about what can happen to you, yo. This kid, and I don't know what did he get locked up for? It was something simple, you know, and it came back. He was in a vegetative state. You know, it's his parents. It's like, you know,
they poisoned him.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, man, that can be the end of you. You know, if you're not paying attention.
It's like a lot of people really just seem to think, oh, they ain't gonna do nothing to me. Fuck yes, they are. Yes, they are. And it's gonna be easier because you're not one of them.
But that's what I mean. People project how it is there, and they don't understand. This is an entirely different place with different rules, and people think differently, and they don't get it.
You know, the other thing, the other thing is like, yo, she's a lesbian. Russia don't take too kindly to people who are lesbian, who are alternative lifestyles. It's like, yo, you're playing with fire, and you know, when gasoline draws, really, you know, and I was thinking I was listening to some other podcasts. The guy was saying that her best bet might be to not let this play out geopolitically, meaning that if she, you know, talks to State Department and gets them behind her, and she becomes this sort of case for, you know, bring you home, and you know, we got the signs and everything is lobbying to get her home, and we pit her, you know, appeal to Putin and see what happens we can do, is that might not be in the best interest, because if he does that, then you're really playing with a lot of other factors. She obviously becomes a bargaining chip. He may use it for that. There's also the, you know, I mentioned about her being lesbian.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
It probably isn't, but whereas if she just lets this play out quietly as a legal case, maybe some money can be thrown around, and she can
I don't think the State Department's gonna get behind her, because Biden wants to project strength in opposition to Putin, so he's not gonna have any sort of side deals that the opposition can leverage to say that, you know, he's bargaining, he's weak. Like, she just gonna have to do her time.
Yeah, it sounds like it's probably the only thing she can do really at this point.
But what if there's a Russian spy that Putin wants? He said, "I'll give you straight up if you want this American."
That you're not trading equivalencies.
At this point, I don't think you're
the Joint Chiefs, the intelligence agency is not going to trade a spy for a basketball
player. No,
that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. They lose in that situation. You lose intelligence for a half a day or maybe 2 days at the most, a feel good media story that you brought her home.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, she's stuck then.
Yeah, she's stuck.
Yeah, I hate to say it, Brittany. You put yourself in a tough spot.
But you know, then I said to myself, right? She's been playing over there 7 to 8 years, and she gets $1 million per season. So theoretically, she's collected $6 million, right? Is that enough bag? Or do you know, you got endorsements here in the States, you do commercials on top of your WNBA salary. I mean, how long do you continue to play in Russia? As long as they pay you? I mean, when do you say, you know, so I guess it's like being a drug dealer. You know, when do you stop? Obviously, before you get caught or you get killed, but you know, I've been selling drugs for 5 years,
but you stay as long as you can to make the money you need to go. And she's not. I mean, it's not like she's doing something illegal. I think she just got caught doing something illegal. But she was playing basketball. There are people who play overseas for years. They play in the NBA for a few years, wash out, they go to Greece, Italy, wherever, play for a few more years and make money. It's just that you have to understand the rules of where you're at,
right?
Which I don't think she comprehends.
Stephon Marbury played in China for how long? After the NBA,
several years. Yeah, several years. He won a championship. And they made lots of money. So you can't. My guess is after this happens, she probably is probably her Russian playing career is probably over. I'm guessing, but hey,
her NBA is over too. Like she's gonna be old.
Well, how long do you think she'll be? You think it's years?
They gave her 10, right?
Well, she's looking at 10.
It's looking at 10.
They just got it right now in a holding cell somewhere.
And what do you think? And what do you think the Putin directed government is going to give? It's like this happened at the absolute wrong everything.
Worst time.
Yeah.
At the absolute
perfect storm of just not good stuff happening.
So who can I throw this question to? Mr. Black Steel, you are a
if you go by the order, you gotta ask me another question.
Okay, I'll ask you a question.
So get them bang bang.
All
trigger.
Right, go ahead. Excuse me. All right, trigger Mike. You are a
You didn't write these down, did you?
I didn't write these down. I'm freestyling. Right off the top of my line. On my line. You are a car owner. How are you navigate roughly these $4 and $5 gas prices, which is likely coming? It's over $4 now. By summer, it might be $5 and $6.
Here's the thing: you shut the fuck up and drive your car, because a long time ago, America decided that what we wanted to do was everybody had cars, and that's just what it is. So you shut the fuck up and you gas up your car. And I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about how you got to pay $100 to fill up your Ford F-150. Nobody told you to buy that car. Nobody told you to buy that.
But you need it for work, though.
Well, if you need it for work,
I'm a contractor.
If you need it for work, you can expense it. But there's a lot of people who just have that car to have that car.
Right.
Yeah.
And even if you need it for work, shut the fuck up. That's the
people memories.
Like I'm gonna keep the same energy. The shit costs more money. It sucks. Like I think Americans need to understand that the fact that we're only now getting to pay $5, $5 a gallon for gas is a fucking luxury. Because in other places, it's like 10 to start in a good economy.
But we were here about 20 years ago when we invaded when we went to Kuwait.
Yeah.
When first Bush was in office, gas prices were $5 plus a gallon. We've been here before, but nobody remembers.
Well, I think
when people took back their Hummers, like they took them back to the people was dropping like, nah, I can't afford it.
Yeah, expeditions and stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yukons. Denali's.
You bought that truck because either for work or because it's a status symbol where you are. And let's be honest, a lot of people buy these trucks because they're status symbols, not because they need them. And so this is just what you gotta. This is what you gotta pay. If you really wanted to get out of it, you would have bought a hybrid, or you would have bought a fully electric vehicle. But we are not
buy a hybrid truck for $100,000. Shoot.
I'm saying, if you were about the life,
hybrids are expensive.
If you were about the
life,
maintenance,
Well,
and then again, why not? Here's the thing: why are trucks the most popular automobile in the country? Why are SUVs the second most popular? And all SUVs are trucks with a little back handle, with a little back cap, so you can put more seats in.
It's multi-purpose.
Is it though? Like,
People feel safer driving if they got in an accident. That's the reason why.
I think
the SUVs, the soccer moms, and all of that stuff. They can fit more kids and gear and all that stuff.
See, multi-purpose.
Yeah.
No, okay. So basically, what you're saying is because y'all just have too much stuff and too many kids, everybody got to drive a big ass car. No, you should have stopped. You should have stopped the two.
No. It goes back to your first point that people it's a status thing because people want it to be the mom or the dad that could drive all the kids to practice in a big old vehicle and throw all the equipment. Like you're right, it was a status thing, and
as such,
and minivans aren't cool. So
yeah, because I refuse to drive a minivan.
But like, let's be honest,
I can't do it.
But you are driving a minivan. It just looks slightly different. Like it does the same thing. I drove a minivan for a while.
Can't do it.
I was the best guy to go on a trip with because I could take everybody in my.
I know. I used to have one when my kids were little, and I mean when I met my wife, I had a Chevy Blazer. I got married, and Josh.
What did you have? You had some minivan.
Yeah, I had a Dodge Grand Caravan, purple. Or amethyst.
My boy, he had one after he had his first couple of kids. My wife, she wanted us to get. I was like, I can't do it. I can't drive a minivan.
Nah,
full disclosure, SUV.
Full disclosure, yeah, I was a married man, but you know what? Still am. But that just cramp your style, man.
Yeah,
you pull up to the light. And a cute female in the next car, you can't holler because she goes see he got kids.
There's just no way you can mac out it.
Right, you can't put rims on it. You can't do nothing.
I mean, you can. It just looks stupid.
Try putting rims on it.
You can sit there. You can sit behind the wheel and look fatherly. You can sit behind the wheel, look fatherly.
Yeah, that's it. That's all
you can try and pimp it out. It just doesn't work well.
Yeah, but man, once when did I get rid of that van? Something happened to it. I think like the air conditioner, the compressor or something. And I use that as an excuse. I gotta get a new car. And that's why I ended up getting a Jeep Cherokee. That was the happiest day of my life.
Man. Oh man.
But at any rate, I think if we want to get out of this issue, unfortunately, the idea of moving off of fossil fuels is just at this point it's inherently political.
Well,
it is. I mean, like it doesn't need to be, but it is.
It's a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more complicated than that because a lot of the electrical power plants actually burn fossil fuels to create the electricity. And even though people are pushing the environmentally friendly or green technologies, with the science that we have, we don't have the ability to fully switch over. But yeah, people are like, I got an electric car. Well, the plant that's making the electricity for the house and the grid is burning fossil fuels. So that's nice. You're minimizing it some, but we're nowhere. We haven't developed the technology where we can support our current need for power in a green way.
I just find it hard to believe that there isn't a balance, that we can't have both in this society.
Yeah.
Have both what?
That we can't have fossil fuel, natural gas, propane, crude oil, and green technology.
Yeah.
Well, why does it have to be one or the other? Why can't
we talked about this? We talked about this earlier, right? I agree with you, Mike. That
political at this point. At this point, we could set up solar panels. We could create a fund to create put solar panels on the top of every house. and just have whole town arrays. Like, why isn't there a solar wind farm out in in the Sound right now? Why isn't there a solar? I mean, I don't know if it's deep enough. If there's enough wind in that area. Or why isn't there one 2 miles out, off the Cape? Aren't there wave energy generators? Because at this point, the idea of even setting that up is tied up in national identity, national politics.
Oh no!
And a lot of these companies.
The reason we aren't. I was telling this to my father. The reason we aren't moving to electric vehicles is because because electric vehicles are not tied into the American identity the way the cars now are. They are. They're tied into the American identity.
No, I think.
And don't you think
that made cars the things that made cars ubiquitous with American family life wasn't the thing that made it ubiquitous was the price. Gerald Ford made it affordable for his workers to buy the cars, and they were cheap. If electric vehicles, if I'm buying an electric truck and it's costing $100,000, it's not happening.
Right. I'm
trying to buy an electric vehicle and it's $15,000 to $20,000 more than the exact same vehicle that's running on fossil fuels. Most people, unless you are philosophically or politically invested in getting a green vehicle, aren't going to buy that vehicle.
Well, yes, and you're right, but in the same way that we had this conversation about how you just can't be driving a minivan, so you get an SUV. That's what I'm talking about. They could be the same price, do the same job. You'll pick the SUV because I ain't driving a fucking minivan. Look at it. Like you, the three of you just said it. Like,
yes, and Black Steel just said, how come they can't coexist? So for the people who want a minivan, they can drive a minivan. I ain't driving no minivan.
So here's what I think. I think that it takes. I think that there obviously is a there's a financial end of it. What if I'm an oil company, why would I want there to be electric cars? From a gas company.
That's healthy competition, bro.
It's competition. You're right. And I'm losing money. So why would I do?
Well,
why would I let someone encroach anywhere on what I'm wearing? If an oil companies.
Right. Let's open up the big tobacco manual. When they put all the restrictions on tobacco, they bought food companies. Use your wealth, use your resources to buy up the future technology or something equivalent so that you can still make money. You got to be able to pivot and you got to be able to transition.
And right now, a lot of oil companies are just continuing to spend their money on making sure.
Yeah, no, it's coming.
They have no incentive to do this. That's what I'm saying. So if it got to a point where
it's coming,
we'll see.
Well, I mean, fossil fuel is not an endless fuel. It's coming, and to survive, you better be able to pivot, and don't try to pivot at the last moment. Tobacco pivoted well, and now like the same principles for tobacco they put into food to make it more addictive, cheaper. Like they did all of the stuff. That's how come we have less nutritious food, because it's a business, and that's what they did. They killed the mom and pop farms, and went in with big agri, and here we are.
So, Mr. Black Steel, you are. Let's say you are. President Biden recently signed an executive order, basically directing agencies to study cryptocurrencies. Would you, and are you an investor in cryptocurrency? Well, how do you feel about the future of the crypto dollar, cryptocurrencies?
I think an investor? Think about it in this aspect, right? We were doing crypto before it was crypto.
How?
Right? Credit, having a credit card, is a form of crypto because it's credit. Your debit card, right? You're getting paid, and it's on a card, and it's money. So I'm still trying to understand the whole crypto business and the crypto wallet and all this stuff and how it works. But I've been saying for a long time, the paper money as we know it will eventually just go away, and everything is just going to be credit. You have 1 million credits in your bank account.
Well, the thing with crypto is that
crypto slightly different.
Yeah, it's a little different because I wouldn't say it's the same as credit because it can be credit is something that can be traced. Crypto is a little bit it's sort of a
no, crypto can be traced. So, crypto can absolutely
how can it be traced? Explain.
No,
from what I gather,
crypto can absolutely be traced. Let me explain. I'm the techie on the cast for those out there in the internet sphere or whatever you want to call it. Techno can be traced because most of the time, whatever form of cryptocurrency is, like if you want to exchange it into real cash, like it's only one financial place that does it. And crypto built into the Bitcoin or the blockchain. Built into the blockchain, it's a ledger that creates every transaction that's related to a product, so they can trace back to the original owner and who owned it in succession. The FBI, the CIA, and other nation states, whatever their intelligence agencies have used, they figured out how to figure out blockchains for people who have done like malware, encrypted like businesses things. It's traceable. A lot of people don't know that it can be traced. Like the people that shut down, what was it? Was it the oil pipeline? What was that, 2 years ago?
What's that?
The where people were putting gasoline in garbage bags and all of that stuff when they Colonial Pipeline. They traced those folks. They shut down their money. Wow. It's possible. It's possible, but they're giving the general public the illusion that it is anonymous. It's really not as anonymous as people think.
Is it just a quick crash course? Tangible, like I can hold money in my hand. I go to the bank and withdraw. Well, and I got dollar bills in my hand.
Let me put
Bitcoin. Crypto. Is crypto the same as Bitcoin?
I'm gonna put I'm gonna put on a little libertarian hat.
Crypto is kind of sort of the currency. Bitcoin is one of the
a brand
types of currencies. Yeah, Bitcoin is one of the types of technology.
Yeah, they're all cryptocurrencies, but it's different, basically flavors of crypto that started by, and they're all valued differently. It's like the dollar versus the yen versus the ruble, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But what was I saying?
How does one buy crypto or able to? Can I go to the bank and say I want to
go to a bank? You can do it on an app.
How do you know which one? See, my issue is I was looking into it. Which crypto do you buy? What is, because it can be so much. It fluctuates so much and it can change. So it's like, okay, Bitcoin, you buy one Bitcoin and it's.
Wait, let me go
ahead.
Let me go put on my libertarian hat for a second, and this is what I mean when I say I'm not a libertarian. I'm not
DJ would love you for saying that.
You only play one on TV?
No, I'm not. I'm not a libertarian. I do listen to some libertarian things just to kind of understand how they think. Ever since was it Woodrow, when we went off of the gold standard, where the dollar is similar to crypto because it's all speculative. There you can't. Back in the day, you could go to certain federal banks or federal institutions, and you could exchange your paper money, your coin money for gold you could go and exchange it for gold. Once we went off of the gold standard, it's all speculative, just like crypto. Crypto is a speculative form of currency, but the speculation is based on like computer processes and breaking complex algorithms, and then you get for Bitcoin, you get a Bitcoin. I don't know necessarily how most of the other ones work, but Bitcoin was the first real big one. And like back in the day, if you got in early and you had a powerful enough computer and you left it running to crack the equations or the algorithms, you could earn like 50 Bitcoins in a night. But Bitcoins weren't worth that much, but nobody knew how, over the course of years of how, the speculative market was going to blow up and they could be worth this much. But they can also drop extremely fast in a short period of time, unlike more traditional forms of speculative currency, like the dollar, the yen,
I do think this is it's a moment that legitimizes cryptocurrency, and it because they're actually looking into it. But personally, I see so much volatility for it. You know what I mean?
The thing is, it's not crypto as a currency, because like crypto can fluctuate. Like for currency, you need a currency that's pretty stable,
right?
And where something that can be worth like $500 more or less one day, $1,000, like that's not good for currency or like trading goods and things. Because like you get a loaf of bread one day, it's whatever, it's let's say it's $3. The next day, because crypto has went up, it's $8. And then the next day it's $4, because crypto can fluctuate like that.
Right. That's
you want the value of your currency. You want your value of your currency to be stable. But no, the thing is, what I think they're really trying to push is the blockchain. They want to be able to track everybody's transactions of goods and services on a digital ledger, so that they can trace and see connections and see how money flows and who's giving who to what. It makes government law enforcement job a whole lot easier if you can do that. It's harder to do illegal things. It's harder to wash the money. Like,
it's you there, man? You there, August?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Oh, I'm still unsure. I mean, it's an interesting story to hear about what's going on with crypto, but I'm not sure where.
With what?
With where it's going. No,
nobody knows,
but it just seems so.
It's
legalized it, but I'm unsure of where.
No, it's really random and speculative. Yeah. I mean, it probably will. I mean, what will probably end up happening is, I mean, there's a lot of different cryptocurrencies now, a lot. It'll probably be, I don't know how long it's going to take. It'll probably be some consolidation, and it'll probably be a few different versions, but not as many as there is now. And then it'll become a lot more stable. And then that's when like countries, nations, states and stuff may adopt it. We'll see.
Yeah,
but it's too volatile now
at this point. Yeah, that's how I look at it. I
this reminds me a lot of the tech bubble. Remember years ago, 2000, when I worked at NBC, 2006, 2007, all those tech websites, and that's how Mark Cuban became a billionaire. And then the bubble burst, and then boom.
Yeah, no, you're right, because it's a new technology. Wow. Just like the web was. People found out how to make a whole lot of money. It got oversaturated and then collapsed.
Wow.
Then collapsed. But I think I don't know if this is going to collapse because of the blockchain nature. Like they want They really do want to be able to track everything, and it's not just government; it's businesses like Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft. They all want to be able to track who bought what, when, where, and why, how. That's all data that they can manipulate and sell. And for advertisements, you bought it, your net income is this, like that. All that stuff is going to be tied together.
Yeah. So yeah,
street librarian. I'm gonna call it an early night. I gotta get up early in the morning and run some errands, and so I'm gonna call it early for me. Mike left.
Good.
All right, gentlemen. Y'all be safe.
All right, man.
Yeah.
All right, peace. So yeah, man. Oh, so since we're the last three Mohegans, let's do some comic talk. Has anyone seen the Batman yet?
Not yet.
No, I haven't.
Happens to Batman. I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys.
I mean, I got some time tomorrow, maybe Sunday. I'll see.
I've seen it.
They closed the movie theater in my town. So.
I heard that it was the best one ever, the best Batman on screen ever.
It's not. But it is good. It is good.
Right. Which one's better, in your opinion?
Better what?
What's the better Batman movie than this one?
This was Dark Knight. This was the Dark Knight.
Oh,
I know how you feel about it, but the Dark Knight, it was the most, I won't say it's the most fully realized version, but it was just a better movie in terms of what it's trying to say. This one is better. I think it's better than Dark Knight Rises, but it's not quite. But it's not quite as bad as Dark Knight in terms of the Nolan trilogy. But I liked it. I mean, I didn't think I liked Robert Pattinson as much as I did as Batman. He was actually pretty good. I didn't.
I heard there were like references to the Court of Owls.
There are, and not big ones, but small. Because what this movie does. It has the best take on Gotham. Most of the other movies don't really take on Gotham as a place. It's kind of just sort of.
Fish Mooney was in it.
What's called?
I'm joking.
No Fish Mooney, thank goodness. I think it so, but I liked it. I didn't particularly like. I like Robert Pattinson as Batman. His Bruce Wayne is hardly there. That's one thing you may notice. Selena Kyle, Catwoman. She was good. I like Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. This is the best Riddler you're gonna see. Paul Dano does a great job as a Riddler.
Disrespected Jim Carrey. I'm joking.
Yeah, you know what? Jim Carrey wasn't bad. He was good for he was in the type of movie he was in. You know what I mean? Paul Dano as the Riddler wouldn't fit in that movie. I know. Colin Farrell is unrecognizable. If you told me he was in this movie, if I didn't know he was in this movie, you by looking at him, you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. It's a little longer than it needs to be. It doesn't need to be 3 hours. And there are some other issues with it, but it wasn't. I have to admit, I actually liked it. I didn't think it was that bad. I cannot complain about Batman, even though I didn't really want it, but you know, it served its purpose. It served its purpose. I can't complain about it that much. Wow. I can't complain about that much. It wasn't that bad.
I have been enjoying Superman and Lois and trying to understand Naomi because I was ready to tap out on Naomi after the first episode, but it got a little bit more interesting in subsequent episodes. Superman and Lois, it's a good drama that happens to be about, it's a good family drama that happens to be about superheroes. That's the way that I look at it.
I haven't watched Naomi yet, and I don't have any plans to. I can't. I got too many other things that I'm interested in to watch it. This just doesn't interest me. You know, Superman and Lois. I'll check it eventually. I just haven't gotten around to it.
No, it's actually it's good, but it's a drama. It's really a drama. I like the way
still
they
thing with the
brought
two
in.
sons that are all. Is it sorry with their sons get their powers yet? Because there was a big huge thing about one son having powers, the other one not, and there's
he's
there was
getting
a teen angst thing. Okay,
he's getting them. They kind of merged Bizarro and Doomsday initially. I don't know. I don't know.
They merged Bizarro and Doomsday. Really interesting.
This is what I mean. When it started out, it was like all of this seismic activity. And you see the suit that Doomsday had on comes out of this mountain and starts killing folks. Soup shows up. He starts fighting. He starts tearing off pieces of the suit, and then he uses his X-ray vision and sees it's like a warped version of himself. It's Bizarro, and then Bizarro takes off. Bizarro. And then it's another person. I can't figure. I gotta Wikipedia or Google. I gotta look on Wikipedia or Google the character. It's this lady who has this thing that has these pendants that can show you your opposite self, and that's how come Bizarro. I think somehow she summoned Bizarro. But she's supposed to be one of the main villains this season. I think
Silver Banshee? No, Silver Banshee. I think it's something else.
No, it's not. She's not she's like she's a cult leader.
Yeah,
she's a cult leader. I think somehow she's gonna bring the real. I think my sense is, or my speculation is, that somehow she's gonna bring the real Doomsday, because they made it seem like Bizarro didn't survive his last encounter, but I don't
what was that video about with John Kent just crying on his bed after like Clark yelled at him? What was that about?
He was on that stuff, man. He was taking, because he didn't have his powers, he was taking this performance enhancement drug so that he could become the starting quarterback of the Smallville Crows. And then he got caught in like they did a search at the school, and he had a lot of it in his book bag, and he got arrested. They was going to charge him with dealing the drug and all of that stuff. And Superman was incarcerated by the U.S. military for treason because he wouldn't let them know the location of where Bizarro was at. And his mother had just went off on him. Lois, she crazy. She had went off on him, and his brother had went off on him in a brotherly way. So he was on his bed snotting it up.
Oh wow!
But it's a drama.
Yeah, and that dark-haired one is going to be the evil Superman, right?
Probably. He's the one that, like, as a kid had like anxiety and I think bipolar disorder. He's one that had mental health stuff before he had his powers. I don't know if he's going to be the one.
Yeah, I'll have to.
He's the one that has more of the heart, like Clark, than the other one. He's more emotionally complex than the other. It's an interesting show. I'm glad that this is the last season of Flash. I'm not watching it, but I'm glad
I gave up on the Flash. I gave up on the Flash. I was like, once they had Despero, I tried watching a couple episodes. I was like, I can't do this.
I'm honest with you. I think I checked out. I never watched
it early. You weren't really into it.
I mean, I was, and then I just wasn't anymore.
That's kind of how I was. It was kind of like
no, it was like it was a easy drop. Whenever you decided to depart, the drop off was easy.
Yeah,
I can't do this no more.
Yeah.
And then it would be on. You skip past it on the TV. No desire to stop to see who you didn't care. You had no. That was it. It was hard to connect with the characters.
And poor Batwoman, I never watched that show. I think I watched one episode.
I just watch it for the eye candy.
You're better than me. I watched one. I watched two.
Robin Givens is on it. Robin Givens is her mom.
I watched. Oh, really? See, I watched it. I might watch it for now. See Robin Givens. I watched it when they had Ruby Rose. I watched a couple episodes of that, and I didn't like it. And then I watched the latest when they changed over to the black girl, and I was like, "What you doing with this wig on?" And that was it for me. That was it. So
yeah. No, I watched the first couple episodes with Ruby Rose, and then I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, it was just too cringy, too cringy. So I was telling Ryan, I saw The Boys Diabolical. You didn't like it?
I don't even know what it is.
It's an animated.
It's an animated version. It's an animated
Amazon
series about
Prime.
The Boys. It's sort of
it's like little shorts,
right? Little shorts that capture. It's hit or miss. It's hit or miss. But one of the things that
have like a sentient poop or something.
Yeah. So what they do is they have like these little sort of short stories that are in the world of The Boys. So in every episode, someone takes the compound that gives them the powers, and it has different results. And the one with the sentient poop is Aquafina's episode. She takes it and she basically shits out a sentient shit, and that's what it is. And the whole show, it's trite. It's kind of it's kind of funny. It has some of the characters in it, but it's not that what you call it. I did like the one. The Nubian versus Nubia, the two black superheroes. That was pretty interesting. So there's these two black superheroes, and they're married, but they're bickering, and they're getting divorced. And their daughter's going to get divorced. So she seeks out like an older supervillain that they used to fight, their old arch nemesis. Come to find out they were all in cahoots. You know what I mean? So they seek him out to try and get them back together, and things happen there. There's one episode that's kind of funny about. When you take this compound, you get powers. So not everyone gets great superpowers. Some people get lousy superpowers. So there's one. What's the one? What a superpower? There's one girl that becomes a ghost. So she can't be seen. Well, she can't. She's intangible, but she can't eat. She can't do anything. She can't touch anything. And there's this whole. And what happens is that these parents who, in the story of the boys, the parents give these kids this stuff so they can be powered, so they can be superheroes. But what happens when they get these lame superpowers, the parents just disown them, and they're at this whole facility. So there's like one superhero that's like this big, huge, muscular guy with the head of a speaker that plays Hootie the Blowfish. I don't want to be with you. There's one guy that's super slow. He does everything slow. There's another one that has basically his head is a pair of tits. There's another that has he's like the Human Torch, but it's his testicles. So it's all these weird superpowers. And initially they think that they're defective, but they find out that their parents sent them there, and they decide to kill their parents. So that's the whole thing for it. It is what it is. It ain't life changing. It's interesting. It's something that ties you over till the next season of The Boys. But I like this one episode.
I didn't watch the last season of The Boys because I just didn't feel like following a Nazi around for a whole season.
No, it was good.
I mean, I'll trust you that it was, but
no, I mean,
I was in watching the Diabolical. The episode with Billy Butcher, the one with the Great White Way. I wish that they did that as a comic, because I read the comic, and it's as much as I like the series and I like it. I think the comic, they had done it like the comic, it might have been better because they could do more with it. Because they had the dog, and it really would present the vision of Garth Ennis in it, and the live action short story does, but you can only do so much, so it doesn't always translate as well from page to screen. But interesting, very interesting. I was impressed with it.
I struggle with, what's the word I'm looking for? I struggle with funny animated stuff about like superheroes or sci-fi. Like I know a lot of people like Lower Decks. It's not for me.
Is it that it's animated?
Well, no, they do keep true to. Yeah, I mean that's part of it, but it's the comedy aspect of it more so than it being animated. Because I can watch the animated original series stuff. I enjoy those.
Which one? The one from the 70s?
Yeah, because they're really like just regular Star Trek episodes that's animated. They keep to the format that I'm accustomed to. Like I struggled when Teen Titans went from Teen Titans to Teen Titans Go, and then Teen Titans Go actually I like that show. I like it a lot. I don't like it as much as the original, but it grew on me and I got it.
Yeah.
The comedy aspect, it wasn't supposed to be funny. I like the interplay and their relationships, and they had a certain consistency. Like for me, the stuff with the boys Diabolical, like I mean, even though I know it was shorts about different aspects of the comic book and the characters, it was too all over the place for me. Like
I think it was supposed to be that way because they were doing.
No, I know it was
different animation formats.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I mean, and I get what you're saying. I wouldn't want to watch a season of that in that way because it'd be too herky jerky. But I did like the one with Billy Butcher, the one where he caught the drug dealer. Pusher Man is called because that one fits the style of the comic that originally started. The rest of them are kind of just more variations and sort of more giving different perspectives on the same topic.
I mean, like I almost tapped out after the first one with the baby. Like, I mean, it was cute, but it wasn't. I don't know. It was just over the top with the animated gore.
Yeah, that part that was a little much. But again, it's in line with those old Warner Brothers cartoons.
No, I know.
So it wasn't that. It was.
I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to say nobody else should watch. It just wasn't for me. I know like stuff that's not for me. I'm cool with it. I respect other people's artistic work that is just not for me.
This wasn't your cup of tea. I can dig it. What I watched recently? I was mostly I saw recently, comic related. So what's going on with you, Mike? Mr. Mike? What have you picked up recently in the comic book realm? We haven't really discussed it in a while. We haven't really gone comic or talked about different comics.
I mean, I saw you bought a copy of
the Milestone Compendium. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, let me just grab that so I can.
Where were you?
I bought it on Amazon. I grabbed a bunch of things. Let me just grab it. Let me dip my toe into the Milestone universe. And
you didn't read them before?
I have a trade of Icon I bought years ago, and that was about it. I haven't read it extensively.
Let me tell you about my mistake, my Five Below mistake. I'm in Five Below. I'm looking for something for the boys. Mm-hmm. I walk by, I see an omnibus of the Uncanny Avengers. Wow, a $25 book for $5. Horrible. It was the Apocalypse Twins. I'm like,
the Apocalypse Twins? What was that one? I don't remember that.
Apocalypse,
the mutant?
Yes. Allegedly his successors, because allegedly he died. And these two beings, which might be, I didn't finish. I had to tap out. Might be Archangel and somebody else, like from an alternate reality, coming to claim his legacy. And they killed a Celestial with one of Thor's old weapons, Jenna Yorn, like an axe that he had. But it was just like the writing was horrible. The art was meh. The art was meh, and the story was meh. Like I was like, oh my God. No. Now I know why it's here.
That's why it's $5.
That's why it's $5. They got me. I wouldn't even pay $1 for it if I would have known what was in it.
Yep. It's the reason why it's $5. Oh man! So your boy, I was talking to Sean. I just got. I was tired. I was in New York last night. I went to see a show last night. Went to Radio City Music Hall and braved post COVID or COVID in New York.
No mask.
I can't wear a mask in a big old place like that, man. Of course not. Of course not.
Okay.
Of course not. I wore a mask on the train, but 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 they're pretty. The thing about New York is they, you gotta have your card, you gotta show you're vaccinated. They're pretty what's called about it. So
okay,
that's New York. That's New
I know
York.
here they're getting rid of restrictions. I mean,
I know
it's place by place. I don't know how comfortable I feel about going around unmasked. A couple of friends of mine were down from Boston last weekend, and I went and saw them because I hadn't seen them in a couple of years. And then like you go out and then you're like, did I get a cold? Do I have COVID now? And then I ended up getting waited 3 days and I got a test and it's just oh no, I'm fine. I just you haven't been outside for 3 weeks.
you know what? It's a weird thing when you go out now, because if you go out places now and I see without mask, I'd be like, well, in my head I'm saying, well, put on a fucking mask. But then it's like, well, it's they're relaxing. What you call it? People aren't wearing masks. Like, it is such a weird time. I can't. I used to go to a gym, and ever since COVID, I've been working out in my garage or at home. And like I recently just joined. Months ago, I joined the gym, and I went there, and like I just can't get into it because it's like to wear a mask all the time. And if I'm wearing a mask and I'm exercising, I'm sweating, it's hard for me to breathe like I want to. So I'll take it off. But then it's like, well, what's the point of what's the point of me not wearing a mask because I'm still wearing a mask, and you just get so confused, and it just makes it just uncomfortable. And it's like I have been back. I can't seem to get into a groove at the gym anymore, and it's such it's a byproduct of this pandemic. It makes you extra paranoid, and almost where you second guess everything. Where you're like, man.
Well, I mean, we spent 2 years just being deathly scared of something, and I think that's hard to unwind. And while we were all sort of scared about this, there was an entire fairly large segment of the community of the country that was just like, this is dumb, I'm not doing anything, and the fact that you're doing anything isn't like it's just all cultural rift. It's, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think the last couple of years have been really bad for the country.
It has, because it's set people in such weird opposing points of view. It's like before all this happened, huh?
We were already there.
Well, but it exacerbated it. It revealed something that wasn't there, and it's like people that maybe you're friends with or you hung out with nice, and you're like, oh man, they're really crazy. And it's like just a couple years ago, you're like, that's my best friend. I like that he's this rebel and he doesn't follow orders. Now you're like, oh well, he's crazy. And it makes it where you just, the lines have been drawn so differently now over time. So it's kind of crazy.
Well, no, I think it just made it easier. It made it easier to speculate on people's political affiliation when you were in public. That's all.
Yeah, it's just strange times, man. Strange times.
I'm trying to catch up on a bunch of comic books. Like I keep buying digital copies of the current run of X-Men, and I haven't read them. I still have to read the current issues of Static and Hardware. I don't think there's a new issue of Icon out right now. I'm just behind. I'm just behind on everything.
Yeah, I'm way out of the loop. I used to be able to follow along with through YouTube, and I stopped doing that, and I'm just way behind. I'm just like, it's like, who's the new Thor? There's a Hulk Thor. You know, like I just
and like I think what's also interesting is like
it's too much. I can't get into current comics.
Yeah,
I think the other big problem is I don't know if this is good or bad, but we're starting to see like the idea of the singular continuity breakdown, right? Because there was an event called Marvel Dark Ages, and that just sort of come and gone. I started reading, and apparently all the electricity goes out. I'm like, is that a major timeline? Is that normal? Like, is that a line-wide initiative? Apparently not. I've only seen it do its thing. So like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
It just to me, they just aren't. I really think that this new spate of movies and sort of the high profileness of comic movies in particular has pushed comics into the background, and I think it makes it where there are no big stories. You know, I remember, you know, they're just. I mean, it's not that the writing's bad or anything. It's just that they're not prominent anymore. It's not. If I'm gonna, again, say like with Batman. I'm you know, the movie's out, so that takes precedence over what's going on in the series. The series is secondary. You know, same thing with Spider-Man. Oh well, they've you know had 3 Spider-Man, different multiverse Spider-Man. You know, I don't really know what's going on in the comic book. It's something totally different. So you're not as in tune to it. So I think it's been a sort of shift where the comics are in the background, whereas maybe in the past the comics sort of told the stories. Now it's kind of like.
Well, and in the past, they were writing to a narrow audience if they weren't doing self-expressions of ideals and stories and things that they wanted to produce that the writers had created. Now they're writing to the masses.
Yeah, like
it's different. It's different. Like back in like the 60s and 70s, like with Marvel, like, and because of Stan Lee, he was writing to address social issues from his perspective and what he thought, and he had a more focused ideal of how to craft stories and storylines for that stuff. But now everything's about engagement and eyeballs and being more politically correct, where it's I think it's harder because I think it's inhibiting folks' creativity.
Yeah.
I think the fact that everything is being farmed for movie and television content is what's limiting people's creativity.
Right.
Yeah. You know, like it's just,
and it's so much.
Like it's just, we have to figure out an angle to make this a bigger thing. And the problem is that means that lots of people people aren't gonna take chances on stories anymore. I mean, not that they did before, but I mean they did, but like I really think you're seeing like a reduction in the types of stories that get told. You know,
you think so? Another thing I
could be completely wrong about that. I'm just trying to figure it out. Like it's also just sort of interesting watching so many people kind of go full on into manga and anime, and they just like straight up don't read American comic books anymore.
I think you may have a point there.
Like I got bored and started watching One Piece, and I've been saying this like One Piece has like 1,000 episodes, so like I'm not going to attempt to watch.
That's why I can't do manga, man. It's just too. I can't do 1,000 episodes. I can't do that, you know.
I'm not gonna try.
I figured out. I think I figured out one of the reasons why like Disney is going to the multiverse
Why is that?
Toys, different versions of characters.
Yeah,
like you always want that secondary. You always want that secondary market, and if you can have various versions of all of the key Marvel characters and different toys that you can produce and sell, and then you can have the different collectibles and the different what is it, like the die cast, what do you call it, the bust and all that stuff that you can do at 50 to $100 and sell them in comic shops. Like it's a business now.
Yeah,
it's a business.
And the other thing I noticed is that there's so much more content out there. There was a time when I've seen all the comic book movies. Now, maybe the major movies, but not all of them, and even the shows, and even what's called. I have not seen. Like I started watching Doom Patrol. I watched it pretty religiously, and then I lost track of it. And I stopped watching that.
The second season wasn't that great.
Yeah, it COVID hit it and it changed it a bit. They weren't able to do things they wanted to do. And then when I started watching it again, I lost track of it. I lost the story, and I couldn't get into it. And the same thing with Titans. I started watching that.
Yeah.
To me, Titans, I just couldn't.
I finished it, but it was hard.
Yeah, I even tried Young Justice. Couldn't get into it. I thought I would really like that.
You didn't like the last season? You didn't like Phantoms?
I just couldn't. I started.
I like Phantoms.
I just couldn't. I maybe.
I mostly liked Phantoms. I got tired of the Mother Box King of whatever Latvian country. I got tired of that storyline.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
just pull the trigger on this or don't. But it's just. I just got tired of it. But the last story arc, which was Zatanna focused, I liked that one.
Me too.
But I like Zatanna.
With the apprentices, that was good.
Yeah, Zatanna. You know who Zatanna is, right, Todd?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just like that character. I don't know why. I just think it's neat that her whole shtick is that she's a stage magician, but she's doing real magic. I just think that's funny.
I think she would make a great movie. I think it would be a great kind of a character to make a live action movie. She's real world based. She can just use magic. You have the whole story with her and John Constantine. You have the whole story with her and her father. Man, I think it would work really well. And then she's been underutilized. Yeah.
And I like the background in Phantom, the background story of Vandal Savage. That was awesome.
I think it's motherfucker. The background story with Vandal Savage, he's just always working an angle, and it's just it's just fuck, man. Now you're hooking up with Darkseid, fuck, man, come on.
No, Lex Luthor has nothing on Vandal. Vandal crazy. I'm gonna kill off most of the world because I want metahumans.
Right, it's just oh shit, what? Just
how old is Vandal Savage? He's got 50,000 years.
10,000 years old.
Yeah.
How many kids? How many babies he must have, man?
A lot.
You think about it.
He's the reason Atlantis is underwater.
Yeah. Really? What are you doing?
He sucked that city.
No, Todd. Todd.
Yeah.
He conquered all of the land, but the earth is 3/4 water, so he wanted to conquer the water. So he wanted to have people that lived in the water, so he flooded the earth. And he sunk Atlantis because he wanted to create metahumans that could breathe underwater.
Wow.
Yeah, no, Vandal.
I gotta start checking.
Vandal crazy.
I gotta start checking that out, man.
It's just
some of y'all gonna live. Some of y'all.
I'm gonna live.
Some of y'all. I'll live. I'm just gonna try this.
So in a roundabout way, we don't get to Aquaman without Vandal Savage.
Wow. So you tell me Vandal Savage is Aquaman's daddy? What the hell?
Not directly, but
something.
No, maybe his son is.
Great.
Remember his son because his son was the king of it, was the leader of Atlantis when he sunk it, right?
Whose son?
Mike. It was.
Vandal Savage's son.
Yeah, he had many. Don't get me wrong, he had many.
Yeah,
the first person that wore the Fate helmet was one of his sons.
I'll give Young Justice a try. I'll give this latest season.
No, it's interesting. Like they do.
It is. I just kind of, just so much. It's hard. There's so much out there. It's hard to decide what to watch.
It's hard to keep track of everything. I mean, one of my nurses was asking me, like, what are you going to do today? And I just said, like, well, everything new in Star Trek is out this week. So I guess I'll just watch all of that tonight.
Oh, let's talk about that. I'm loving Picard so far.
Picard was interesting. Like
the Borg got that.
I did like the way the Borg crew was just sort of there, just being like, you. And Picard goes, you. And she goes, you. And they should have just stopped it there. But like, I don't know.
She was crazy.
She was crazy. It's like, why did you slap that man?
He slapped but Jeebers out of.
What I love too is just like, you won't ever learn the lesson. It's just like, motherfucker, what are you talking about? What lesson? Say it. What do you want me to learn?
Cisco, they would have been moving furniture. They'd have been on the ground rolling around. Cisco been like, you out of your dang mind, Q?
I'm about to. I think you forgot what happened the last time.
Yeah.
Up in here. You got 5 to the face. You about to get it together, motherfucker. So basically, Todd, what happened is Q shows up. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know Q.
Q shows up and like essentially shoves the entire cast into like an alternate universe. It's not the mirror universe, but like it may as well be. Like it's fucking evil over there.
Well, he went back in time and changed one event and made Earth the conquerors of the known universe, of the galaxy.
They have a holiday where they basically kill off the last of any alien species. It's a fucking holiday.
Wow,
I like eradication.
4th of July. Woohoo!
Like,
so a space age version of the Purge.
No, it ain't the Purge. It's like these are the political prisoners, the last of their kind, and we're gonna kill them on this day.
Wow.
There will be no more insert well-known alien. There are no more Beta Z anymore. This is the last one. Ain't no more Beta Z no more. Like
this is one thing that sort of pisses me off about the Star Trek universe. Like when I saw that, I was waiting to see a Jemadar head or whatever gelatin thing of a founder.
A changeling?
Yeah, changeling.
No, they just turned to dust. They don't. There's not anything.
That's right. Yeah.
They literally just turned into.
I wanted to see an urn of dust. Like he was ruthless, but there was no Jim. Like they act like that aspect of that's not part of the continuity.
But they might not have found the wormhole though. Like it's entirely possible. Yeah, go ahead. It's entirely possible. Like it's because the wormhole's in an area of space that's like.
And really, Cisco had to find a wormhole, and if he's a warped version, they wouldn't have. They'd have been like, nah.
Yeah, like it's just yeah. Martok's skull ridges were incorrect, but they referenced it.
Yeah.
They'll do I don't know if Ferengis had bones in their ears, but I guess they do.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
It was like 7 had me cracking up when she was doing her
checks.
Her reality test.
Yeah. What is this horse? Like I was and that little man she was married to, just like,
I'm like, he ain't you married to no 7. That ain't right. I was mad.
Like, why would you marry him? Like who is he? Like I can already tell you basically stepped on his neck and I liked how the space ninja killed those like 5 guards with his literal handcuff. Just
he was breaking them up. It was Elroy or what?
Elnor, that's his name. I just call him Space Ninja.
Yeah, like he's a bad boy.
Just slit their throats, like whatever. Turning, like it's just like, how does this society function?
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
I don't know, man.
Like Picard at the center of it, like as the
so what is
the ruthless general?
What is Picard about? I haven't watched it. I don't have
Well, don't watch last season, okay? Just start watching this season. Don't even watch season 1, okay?
If you like old school sci-fi, then watch it. If you don't, if you want, just skip it, as Mike said.
No, like it's not even good old school sci-fi. It's just,
no, I mean it's good. Put it this way. This was the purpose of it. The purpose was to give you a sci-fi story, but reintroduce the characters and let you see how they've aged and what their current limitations are of their age.
7 of 9's a weird vigilante, which is honestly something I did not see for her character.
No, I can see it getting assimilated as a child, and like Riker and Troy, Mary living on this planet. That little girl lost a son to a disease that couldn't be cured. Data's an AI in a box.
He's an AI in a box.
Yeah.
What is that? Yeah, I got to start. I got.
No, his what is it? His positronic neurons can create synthetic life in twins and triplets, right?
Twins.
No, but wasn't the main character the one that got killed? That was a triplet, right?
No, that was just a twin.
But they killed one of them, but it was 2 of them on the planet, right?
No, there was only the 2, and one was on the planet, and she got killed, and then they went and found the other one on the Borg cube. There were only 2. Excuse me.
Don't fight over this. It's not that serious. Where's Geordi?
I don't know. Probably fucking Leah.
Talking about warp engine core.
They get married anyway.
Yeah.
Apparently they get married anyway. It's like,
no. Talking about warp engine core design.
No.
What about Worf? Yeah, what about Worf?
What about Worf? I don't know.
No, we don't know about Klingons, huh? No Klingons, huh?
No, they're Klingons, but they're the weird looking Klingons.
Oh, man, I like Worf. I like Worf.
Like my friend and I kind of hate watch all these shows. Although not Picard.
What about Discovery?
We hate watch Discovery.
No, I just can't stand. Like, I don't believe Book would have failed for what's his Tarkov or whatever his name is.
That motherfucker is evil, and it's just interesting. And it's just interesting that you just get into this now. Like, you just notice this now. Like, you do notice, like,
right in the head.
This motherfucker does not care about anyone but himself
from the beginning.
Like, this motherfucker does not care about anyone but himself. Like,
he's the smartest person in the world.
Entire planets so that he can hopefully go to meet his space boyfriend in another dimension. Yeah. I hope that other dimension is full of nothing but itchy powder. I hope when he goes, I hope he teleports himself into an endless void.
Yeah, no, he crazy. We still didn't get to see what the 10C looked like. That was an interesting concept. What was that movie? I think they're gonna be like, what was that movie? It was who was it? I can't think of it. But where they had the giant gaseous creatures, because they said they were like on. No, I'm saying it was a movie with it was a First Contact movie, and it was similar, and they had like this mist.
Oh yeah, Arrival.
Yeah, Arrival. It was like
basically the super aliens that they went to meet have this weird combination of math and pheromones.
Yep.
That's how they communicate. so that they had to figure it out. And like, the crew was making progress, but then like Tarka like escapes the little pocket reality that they've been trapped in and just fucked up the whole thing because he doesn't listen. The thing I figured out, like, it wouldn't matter. Like, Tarka would have done that no matter how well it was going because Tarka does not care what is happening. He only cares about his own objectives. And he's just like, well, I mean, if I destroy it, like, Vulcan and Earth will have like a month before the wave actually gets there. They could evacuate by then. You're not thinking about the big picture, man. Like, no, I'm not thinking about the big. I think you're thinking of a desperately small picture, which is like your picture is you, and that is it.
My favorite character, she was subdued on the last episode. The cranky old lady. I love her.
and like
she was very insightful. All the stuff she said was true.
The teenagers are not in the show.
Oh no, I can't stand that.
I don't give it, and it's great. I don't give a shit about those characters. Just don't give a shit. Don't care.
Yeah, and
How does bored?
No, they're only on there. They're only on there
because I don't know. I haven't watched all this. You guys have inside. No, you guys like inside baseball.
The teenage characters are only there for that viewing demographic because they're not well written. Their stories aren't interesting. They're not
at all.
They're not engaging. I'm not going to say that they're not. I mean, maybe if I was a kid, they were likable, but as an older person, like no. There's nothing. It's just bland. It's blank.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. I think you've taught me into trying to retake another look at Young Justice.
Yeah, watch Young Justice.
No, you need to watch. Yeah, Young Justice is. Young Justice.
Watch this season of Picard. Just don't watch the last season. Just don't even bother with it. It's not good.
All right, I'll take your advice on it.
No, the new, like I'm enjoying the new season of Picard, and I like Whoopi was acting her butt off in that first episode when they was.
It didn't seem.
No, her connection, her relationship, how they play like old friends. Like this is like people forget. Like Next Generation started in the 80s. We 30 years apart. Like we're 30 years away from that. And because like I get it that folks who weren't there in the beginning, they've seen these shows and reruns and syndication and all of that stuff. So they're newer, but they don't get like the characters are 30 years old. And this is because the actors are 30 years old. It's set in that time's future where they're older and he can't be the same Picard. Everybody can't be the same character that they were.
Right.
Like, and they're showing that, and they're showing you how they have aged and what time has done in their life to them and their perspective, but yet their essential self is still the same. But these are the repercussions of time and getting old.
Right.
I mean, Picard is still wants to be the what's the word? The ambassador, the negotiator, the fixer. Riker is still, I'm gonna rush headstrong into a situation and I'm gonna blast my way out. And Deanna's still trying to be the mama and help everybody out. It's interesting.
All right, fellas. I gotta check out, man.
All right.
Around. We'll do this again, man. I think what we should do is maybe we should consider creating just a comics for the show. Just doing that straight.
Yeah, no, I would like that.
Talk, just separate from the political end of it. So think about it. You guys. I'll allow you two to think of a name so we can call it something.
Let's see. No, I'm not trying to think of a name now. I'm just should we try to, because I listened to a couple, what's the one? I just started listening to this one, Amputee, and then I've been listening to iFanboy. iFanboy is more people that are involved in the industry, that have worked in the industry, and they review a bunch of different comics. Like some weeks they do a bunch of different ones, and then on other weeks, what is it called? Their book explosion, where they focus in on one book and they talk about everything. I mean, they go into the writing, the inking, the lettering. I mean, they're real knowledge about it. That's iFanboy. And then the other one is AIPT Comics. And I think they're more recent into the industry, and it's more like how we talk about stuff. That one.
Well, I mean, I think since we're not writing, I think we should think about the whole industry, and then maybe beyond, look at the. I can see.
Well, should we review like a book and talk about it? That's what I was saying.
Actual book, like a title, you mean?
Yeah, like try to read something all together and then discuss the book and what we thought.
Do whatever you want to. We can do.
Try to find like black sci-fi, I guess.
That might be bad.
I've been trying to reread Octavia Butler books I read before.
We are reading, and
it's funny that you said. I just talked to a friend of mine. I was like, I need to.
We're reading.
I need to do that. Like Octavia, campus. I need to go back.
You know what? If you want to,
I haven't read that since like high school or first part of college. I haven't read any of her books since then. We're
doing on campus. They're doing a Parable of the Sower.
Oh, really?
There's a graphic novel of it that I have. I haven't really opened it up, but yeah, having a book discussion about it. So that's not a bad idea. I like that. Actually, that's a great idea. I think we should talk about Black, about different Black creators, sci-fi and beyond, and I think we don't have to narrow it between just books. We can go comics. We can go sort of the whole sphere. So it's not just one what you call it. So think about it, man. Putting you on the case, man.
Okay.
All right, fellas. I'm out, man.
All right. Have a good one, brothers.
All right, brothers.